The Magic Flute, the study of Mozart's last great opera, Module Number 2, taking a look at gender interpretation of tonal form in music. In this module, I will present to my peers research and information regarding the controversy of gendered interpretation of tonal form in music. Typically, information presented on this topic is researched in external or extroverted terms rather than in psychological or introverted terms. We will delve into the study of Mozart's The Magic Flute, plot archetype to determine the implications through psychological terms of the gendered interpretation on the reoccurring sonata form. The Magic Flute combines elements of misogyny, racism, and irrationality with that of enlightened and utopian themes. It is believed that all of the characters in the story are aspects of one being, one psyche, one soul. Through studying the storyline and music composed for the Magic Flute, it can be interpreted that Tamino is the central figure and all other characters react and revolve around him. This would infer that Tamino is the one being and that the other characters with whom he interacts are actually different aspects of his own personality. Each action completed by a character sheds light on the development of Tamino's psyche and journey. This would again infer that there is a conscious side of Tamino, which is where the storyline is actually taking place, and the other characters are aspects of his unconscious psyche. Through the examination of the psychological significance of classical music, one can see how this thought of one being reinforces the musical forms and procedures used throughout this opera. There are quite a few similarities between Tamino's character and that of Mozart's own personal story. In a moment of battle, Tamino does not forge his sword, but instead retrieves his flute. This act signifies his positive male bravado, maturing and developing a softer, more passionate psyche. Mozart's father was the source of his early musical training and knowledge. He gifted Mozart with the tools needed to create music. Hence why Tamino appears in the beginning of the opera with a bow and no arrows, which is representative of the bow his father used to play violin. Tamino brandishing the flute is more symbolic of this self-expression rather than combat, thus symbolizing the maturity of the character. This can represent Mozart's mature, personal, and self-sufficient musical gift that he continued to foster on his own accord, not just from his father's forced encouragement. The swells of drama and emotion in Mozart's compositions of the Magic Flute act as a powerful channel for psychological health. It is also suggested that since Mozart was in his last year of life and in a bad mental and physical state, he rescued himself through the power of this music, from the brink of darkness and creative exhaustion. The musical and narrative themes evoked and developed throughout the Magic Flute can be viewed as foreshadowing for the Romantic movement. The isolation of male, masculine and light, and female, feminine and dark elements and thematic material depict a specific type of emotional and dramatic development that resembles the standard conception of classical sonata form. There are clear implications in the Magic Flute that depict gender identity as an aspect of musical form. Susan McClary writes, "Absolute music appears to make itself up without reference to the outside social world because it adheres so thoroughly to the most common plot outline and the most fundamental ideological tensions available within Western culture. The story of the hero who ventures forth, encounters as other, fights it out, and finally reestablishes secure identity. The story of the Magic Flute is based on meeting and mastering the shadow, therefore providing an element of narcissism. The musical elements of this story are represented by standard tonal form."